Good morning. Half hour before we get into noon over here, Eastern Standard. I am feeling pretty good. I got to admit, I'm feeling absolutely liberated in terms of all of these little thoughts I used to have, all these little fears. It's dawning on me just absolutely how pointless it all was to stress myself. Back in the day, Pepperidge Farms remembers back in some time when I'd actually be conscientious of the numbers and the opinions. What's up, Maxwell? Good to see ya. I'm gonna keep on trucking through here. I've come to a lot of conclusions in recent history, and instead of the usual just ranting to the phone, I had decided to get at least some clips that I want to share, or at least some concepts that I want to speak on. CFALs, good to see you. I hope all is well. I just All right. For one, I want to point out what I've noticed, which must be obvious to everybody. Large, successful channels absolutely get to not worry about the terms of service on this platform. Why? Because they make revenue, lots of money for YouTube. They're going to get a pass. Smaller channels are much more quick to get a little ban hammer action or any strikes. Hello, Sarah. It's amazing to see you. I think about you often. But okay. With that being said, yeah, you're going to get a call within the next 48 hours, by the way. Okay, recently it's just me and my 80-year-old mother. I'm taking care of her every day. I'm back on a sobriety arc. Back on a sobriety arc, which is a played out theme on this channel and in my life. Nobody's more tired of talking about, oh, I'm sober this time, and this is going to be, than me. All that matters right now, though, is that 2 months in, I'm still doing good. And as I'm doing good, I'm using all this newfound clarity to check out. Yeah, we're back. I couldn't help it. What's up, Saffron? I couldn't help but to look at some of the core issues. Like during my rant this morning, I spoke briefly about some political stuff or mainstream media stuff. And, well, let's see. There's two things that I want to talk about. Let me start with. Okay, give me a moment as I. Yeah, this. All right. I want to watch this video in real time. It's a brief one, I'm sure. And this is very chaotic for me. So bear with me, but we're going to keep it brief. Let's do the sharing is caring. This Times Square thing, right? All right, here's all I know. Here's all I know. And I want to add one more bit of context. I have been looking into some of the responses regarding the woman, the white woman with the tattoos with the toddler who said the N word and was being filmed by a sexual deviant and a PDF who was grandstanding about a situation he had nothing to do with and about her using the N word, right? Which is a bad thing. But here's one of the takes that I have that I do believe would possibly warrant some people to come after me or call me anything that they want to, because I don't care. I really have reached a point where I don't care. So, what she did, bad, yes. Looking at the Carmelo Anthony thing, I'm just gonna say, okay, that GoFundMe disgusted me 100%. I even for people I expected like a wildly offensive, shocking kind of take, I was expecting from them, my friends. Even some of them were like, no, 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 we still need more information. I feel like I've gotten enough information. Given we still have a lot more to come, right? We have video evidence that hasn't been released, but after seeing how the Carmelo Anthony case was rallied behind, it fed something like it gave me a horrible taste. Okay, it really and it made my gut hurt. It felt like I was looking at something wrong, and when I'd called it out, when I'd shared on any social media platform, I would be made to look like a talking point. I would be like only with a couple of my liberal friends, or even some of my, dare I say, a couple of, no, honestly, just one black friend of mine that's always been so die hard about the race issue in America. So with that context, I mentioned the recent case with the woman, and seeing that people have given her a bunch of money. That was a giant middle finger to all the people that rallied behind Carmelo Anthony. And what do I think of that? I can sit back and laugh and be on the fence about it, but that would be a little disingenuous. I understand. I understand why people gave that woman money. I do, and I don't feel any sympathy. I don't feel bad that I feel that way. I I think the whole white guilt narrative, at least for my generation, which is I think Gen X, right? 1984, 1985, blah blah blah. I was tired of watching the white guilt crap, right? I'm a Hispanic Jewish guy. Race has never been a huge thing to me, but I can't help what I see, right? So, yeah, I just wanted to say that part out loud, and I got some more stuff. But this statue right here, real quick. And I guess I had to get that out of the way just in case I get even nastier. I'm not going to hide any of my real opinions. I don't care. I don't care what other people think. And the only way you ever find people that agree with you is by daring to say what you think and feel, or to at least encourage discourse. You gotta do it. Rip the band-aid off. So I don't know anything about this statue, why it was erected, what purpose it's supposed to serve. You know, this is devolving. Okay, I think of like the Greeks. I think of the Italian. I think of some of the greatest art. Even like I guess what Egyptian art and all of that, which is supposed to be a celebration of something. Just that to me when I think of some like Michelangelo, blah blah, art, right? Beautiful. Is this supposed to be like? I'm not seeing any beauty here. If this is supposed to make what? Okay, just let me say it instead of worrying about how I'm going to say it. Is this supposed to make people that look like this woman, like body plus size, black, is this supposed to just specifically target them and make them all feel good? For one, I want to selfishly say, as I'm overweight myself, this statue should be a reminder to maybe do some calorie counting. Okay? Yeah, maybe get a better fitting shot. I don't know. What is the point that's lost on me here? So this is the first bit of footage. I've not watched it. I've not watched any videos about this thing. I wanted to read the article too, and I'm aware I'm absolutely probably gonna sound ignorant to people. I might piss some people off. Don't care. Don't care. Let's see. Let's hear it. This is my first time. I like the real time learning. Yep. Okay. Every day I'm buffering and playing ads because somebody's got to pay the bills. All right, at least it's real quiet.
Democrats have been on a statute.
Hold on. Shut up. And I promise, super offensive stuff coming soon because I can't hear a damn thing, Bobby. Oh, don't. Here we go. I'm just going to give it a shot while I mess around with the mouse. Here we go. Play.
Jihad since the summer of love. Christopher Columbus, Teddy Roosevelt, George Washington, even Honest Abe, even Frederick Douglass all got torn down. Statues are important. They tell the American story. But the left wants to desecrate and forget our heroes and erect their own statues. In Times Square, a giant statue of a black woman just went up. And when I heard about the statue, I was open-minded. American heroes come in all shapes and sizes. Who is this woman? What did she do to get a statue? A nice one, too. Nothing. This isn't a real person. It's a DEI statue. The sculptor says she's a fictional character who's meant to contrast the statues of white men in Times Square, like Father Duffy, a World War I hero who actually accomplished something.
So, it's, from my understanding, before the clip sees it through, this was for no other point than to what? Balance out the disproportionate colored white statues. Okay. It's one thing for like a sense of representation, but just a fictional caricature of a modern black woman is that I don't really see what it thinks it's accomplishing. I don't know what just happened. Hold on while this goes through. Okay, so they just slapped an admitted DEI statue. I'm so tired of DEI. Like I'm hoping we're on the throes of seeing it like getting removed from our vernacular, our curriculum, in our workplaces. But okay, this woman, this fictional character, no real accomplishments. That's ironic to me as it stands there meaning nothing. Meaning nothing. I like okay, all right. Hey, fat people out there that like hip hop, you already got Lizzo. Like what what now you need a bronze statue? Is this for ego or is this for you to just cope and or justify that you're unhealthy and I'm failing to see the art here. All right, so I interrupt for long periods of time. Shut up. I am a master of the craft.
The sculptor says she's a fictional character who's meant to contrast the statues of white men in Times Square, like Father Duffy, a World War I hero who actually accomplished something. The artist calls this fake lady a modern-day David.
Oh, no.
The contrapposto pose of her body and the ease of her stance is a subtle...
No, they did. A modern-day David? No. I'm going to go there. There was a time not long ago where I would be too afraid to joke about this crap. Stupid freaking ads and browsers. So, does she have a name? Can I guess it? Can I make a bunch of stereotypes? Is this statue not in and of itself perhaps a stereotype? Just a fair question before I make inappropriate jokes.
Democrats have been on a... And the ease of her stance is a pose of her body.
Is she on food stamps? Can I ask? Is she a single mother? Really like tone deaf commentary. Now I'm going to stop interrupting because I keep having this issue. Let me let it play to its end, or at least
Robinson, Rosa Parks.
Okay, Jackie Robinson.
We could go on and on and on. But they've built a statue in Times Square. They could have done it for Michelle Obama or Kamala Harris or Oprah Winfrey. Usually you have to earn a statue. I'd give one to Jalen Brunson. He's carrying the Knicks on his back. Anyone but a fake lady. So what does New York think about the DEI statue?
Do you know who this woman is?
No.
I have no idea, no.
Nope.
I have no idea, no.
No, I do not.
Do you have any idea of maybe something that she accomplished that got her a statue?
Something with equal rights? I don't know.
Something to do with like the Black community.
Part of the BLM movement.
What if I told you she accomplished nothing?
Really?
It's supposed to embody everybody. Does that make sense to you?
No.
I think I feel totally represented by that.
You do?
No.
I feel like it's a good representation for New York, especially because it's towards the BBW women. And a lot
I'm
of
sorry,
people,
what's BBW?
big black, like the big black women.
What do you think about her pose? Is that a good pose?
No, I don't think she's happy to be here.
People are comparing it to Michelangelo's David. How do you think it stacks up?
She's wearing more clothes.
She's not naked.
No.
Would it be better if she were?
That's a tough question.
Who do you think she voted for?
I would say Trump.
I think she voted for Trump.
Probably Kamala.
Comma.
Why do you think that?
Black Lives Matter.
Probably didn't vote
Why?
because she's stuck here the whole day. She couldn't get to the polls.
How does she make you feel?
Like a baddie.
What a beautiful piece. Standing in the middle of Times Square. What a beautiful time.
Jimmy Fail is the host of Fox News Saturday Night.
There it is.
Have you checked this statue out?
I have watched it. It is not quite Michelangelo's David. It's more like Michelangelo's Lizzo, if we're going to be honest. And when I say Michelangelo, I mean the migrant dressed as the Ninja Turtle, Michelangelo.
I think I've seen enough. Like, I'm honestly curious. Okay, so we saw what? 2 examples of stop being afraid. African American, 2 black women that were saying that they don't know who she is, they don't know why it's there, but they assume it's positive, and then at some point given a little bit of time in between the interview, she decided to do a little song. What a beautiful time! Like, okay, and the stance, like, this gives that little, like, Karen-esque vibe. What's about to happen here? I have inappropriate jokes that are formulating, and I'm still holding back. Maybe I'm not fully liberated as I thought. Oh, okay. I'm behind the times. I'm the grumpy old white-looking fella now, and I think that is absolutely hilarious. If I can at least laugh at something, it doesn't incite any anger. It does absolutely impose some confusion. That would be like me if I was to walk by. Let's see. Okay, if I saw a statue of where's the Spanish Jewish, like, people that are of both persuasion statues. Now I want a statue too, specifically to my demographic, to the Jubians out there. I don't see Jubian Prince statues of the short, kind of manlet size, bite-sized male with a Napoleon complex, maybe with a PlayStation 5 on the side and a microphone and a little YouTube view count that says like 5. I need some representation out there, people. Come on. It's a sign of the modern times. I don't understand putting a DEI-inspired statue with no actual accomplishments, with any relevancy, nothing that has been a benefit to history, just for the sake of inclusion. That, I think, there's irony. It's making a case for why DEI is so terrible. It's there just to be there, just to show up, just to show. We know we're diverse. We know this world and this country has all beautiful shapes and sizes and colors and creeds and cultures. We know these things. But do we absolutely need things, programs, legislation? Hell no. To affirm these things, to remove a merit-based system, just to say, hey, look, I have black employees, or, Estonian employees, or albino employees, whatever floats your boat. We want merit. You know what? Quick segue. The helicopter Black Hawk issue, that was a DEI hire. The woman that had that crash, they had evidence from the black box that she did not listen to her superior, which was the pilot in the passenger side. She was in the wrong seat and crashed. That's what happens with DEI hires and not merit-based, skill-based hiring. You're putting our lives at risk just for the sake of pandering and virtue signaling. Is it really worth it? I don't think so. All right, so random stuff. I was trying to find a video about the border and how it looks now compared to, well, the Biden era, and I'm just going to spoil it. It's a lot better, and I'm proud to have voted for.
What if you can create your...
Okay. Now, I'm going to keep on the thing of, like, some things that confuse me. Right now, I think is a critical time in our country, right? The India-Pakistan conflict is one of the conflicts that terrifies me, maybe even more than Ukraine-Russia. Okay, I made it clear, and I think if you do your homework, the mainstream is not doing its due diligence. We've all learned very, very well how useless the mainstream media is in current day with the power of the internet. The problem with the internet is you can easily find yourself into confirmation bias and fake news. At least with the mainstream media, you can count on those things. So at least within the internet sphere, we have the power to actually reaching some sort of conclusion, giving enough, connecting the dots and finding the stories that are relevant to the topic you're looking for. So this little thing, I just heard about it, didn't do the research, pissed me off, all right? Anti-Semitism appears to be becoming more accepted and mainstream, right? Like, I'm of the Jewish heritage. I've never been a practicing Jew, yada yada. I've said that ad nauseum, right? So I have skin in the game here a little bit because I've known a lot of Jewish people in my day. They've been nothing but peaceful, positive. I mean, everybody's guilty of saying something that wouldn't sound politically correct, right? I worked for Muslims for more than a few years They didn't hide the fact that they believe what they believe. How I was able and allowed to work there without having my life in danger is probably because I was benefiting them and accepting under the table really, really like probably illegal pay. So, and there's about two ex-Muslim friends of mine that completely told me cold stone-faced to my eyes that they would eliminate me, unalive me, if there was a jihad, right? Personally, I mean, I can't. Is this disingenuous? At least in my life experience, I haven't experienced any Jewish people that are openly talking about, like, yep, we're going to end some lives or this or that. I don't care how xenophobic or Islamophobic this appears or sounds. It is my conclusion after many years that Islam is the most violent of the religions. And I am no fan of all religions, even though I've recently come to peace with spirituality and God and praying. My idea of God is different from everybody else's because I am using what works for me. But that being said, Islam scares the crap out of me. That's why when it comes to Pakistan, nukes, and then being supported by Iran and China also maybe inching them to combat India, which we're much more friendly with, the whole thing scares me. That being said, the Free Palestine movement is... Thanks, Hassan Piker, you absolute piece of shit. You're worthless, and so are your little hooligans that harass that one Jewish creator, Ethan Klein, from his H3 podcast. He is accomplished in just inciting literal violence and disturbing behavior by pissing off his fellow Arab subscribers and fans, where 2 human skulls were sent to the man's house, and CPS was called, all in the name of From the River to the Sea. And what does that mean? As an anthem, it means eliminate Jewish people from existence. So no, I don't support Free Palestine anymore. I tried my best. And again, just like I got pushed away from being a Democrat or a progressive, I feel pushed away from supporting Palestine anymore. Yes, terrible things happen on both sides. Absolutely terrible, despicable, inhumane, life-altering, life-losing events that I had way more sympathy for. But I'm too pissed off. I'm too pissed off to show that same level of support. Because the hypocrisy I see here and the anger I see here from that side is growing. Let me see this. This is... I just heard what I heard, that a bunch of people that weren't students that were supporting Palestine ran into Columbia University and occupied it. That sounds like low-key, like a Free Palestine January 6th, right? That's how the mainstream media would paint it if they had balls. Remember, I loved J6, minus the embedded feds and all that. But okay, let me hear this. Let me get the details from the first outlet or clip that I found. Posted only a day ago, so it's still fresh. One moment.
Good evening.
Hold on. I am taking care of my 80-year-old mother. Give me a moment, please. I'll let this ride. Hey!
Natasha Berman.
And I'm Steve Lacey. Take a look at this video. Dozens of pro-Palestinian protesters arrested after the university says they forced their way into Butler Library, interrupting students studying for exams. The mayor's office saying Columbia asked the NYPD to remove the demonstrators. Of course, this brings back memories of last spring's protests on campus at Columbia.
Fox 5's Linda Schmidt covered those extensively and is back out live at Columbia tonight with the latest on these protests and the arrests that have been made. Linda.
That's right. And here we go again. First of all, good evening to both of you. The NYPD telling me tonight that at least 75 protesters were arrested here tonight. Now, the acting president of Columbia University saying she had no choice but to call in the NYPD.
Let me offer context where it matters. So what I did here is that apparently this came shortly after a response. All right, there was Trump's presidential order request. I guess it's not a request. That and it makes sense to me. Where's integration? I understand respecting other cultures, but when you go to our American institutions, right, and you're hiding your face, which is what the Columbia University did under order from the president, took away the freedom. It's a freedom to express your religion. No, if you're going to integrate, you got to go all in here. removing headscarves or the masks. You're in a public place. It's important to have your identity out there. Okay, at least I understand online, but come on, in real life and in an institution like that, if you want accountability, you got to have your whole face out. Just for safety's sake, man. That's all. So this is the very peaceful, tolerant response.
Is the takeover here at Butler Library, right here behind me, one of the rooms, it got violent. And the university believes that many of the people in that group, many of those people are not even students. Go ahead, take a look at this video here, because this is some of the stuff that was posted on X today. Actual students, they were trying to study inside the library, and they posted these videos on X. Now, one of the students that I spoke with by phone telling us that she was terrified. About 100 anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian protesters stormed the library on campus late this afternoon. And then just outside the building, some students actually...
Can we start making the correlation of pro-Palestine is almost every time starting to equal anti-Semite? Is that okay to say out loud? Because it doesn't seem to fail me when I talk to anybody of that persuasion. It's always the condemnation of Israel's sovereignty and existence. And I hear some pretty awful radical things, some very violent incitement and or suggestions regarding Israel and or Jewish people and how these people really feel about them. And they went so far as to act in a way that made students of every persuasion and the people there feel not safe. And of course, violence breaks out. Way to get your point across.
Actual students clashed with the protesters. Now, initially, the university's newly formed public safety team of officers tried to handle the situation. They arrested 3 of the protesters, but 2 of the officers ended up getting injured. Columbia's acting president then called in the NYPD, the department's strategic response group, in riot gear, moved in, and within a short amount
injuring the police officers there to enforce the law, make sure people don't get hurt. And the fact that they got injured in the process really shows that peaceful tolerance that I keep hearing about the Islam culture. Yeah. Doesn't stink like shit at all right here. The bullshit, meaning the narrative.
At a time arrested at least 75 protesters who had refused to leave, all of them wearing masks. They were then handcuffed and loaded onto NYPD buses. Now, Columbia issued...
And the crowd goes wild. You hear that applause in the background? That's what I want to believe is the majority of people here. For some strange reason, another correlation I can make, and a positive one, is that Trump supporters seem to be patriotic. When I was a progressive, I focused on all the negative. There's still great things that are ideas within that unit, but the way they go about trying to get them is never seems to be peaceful and never gives any credit to the country they're in. And there's a name for that. They just take for granted all of the good and paint it because they find a few things, it's all bad. That was a depressing, self-righteous way to live.
Issuing this statement saying in part, quote, a large group of people attempting to force their way into Butler Library, creating a safety hazard and what we believe to be the significant presence of individuals not affiliated with the university. Sadly, during the course of this disruption, 2 of our Columbia public safety officers sustained injuries. These actions are outrageous. She also goes on to say there will be disciplinary action against any of those who are students. Now, if you remember, the Trump administration pulled hundreds of millions of dollars of federal funding from Columbia University and told the university, if you want to get that money back, you have to crack down on anti-Semitism and the demonstrations that are going on here. Some of the things that the Trump administration told the university they needed to do was implement a ban on masks. The university did that. Also, no more allowing anybody to take over any of the buildings on campus. And so there was a quick crackdown today, as well as establishing on-campus security that has the same arresting power as the NYPD. Back inside to you.
All right, Linda, thank you.
I hope that looked like the sprinkler and not a Nazi salute. Please don't pull a Musk on me. Okay. So, I got to share some actual feelings. Let me see if we have any real-time feedback. By the by, what's up, Red Fox? They are pro-Palestinian. Why wouldn't they be? And that's the point I'm making. And I'm tired of not saying the quiet parts out loud. This is where I feel liberated now. Like, I don't really have that much to lose, so I'm going to go balls out crazy in terms of the opinions that I'm passionate about on this very channel. I don't care about the terms of service. I don't care about other opinions or being clipped or channels bullying me. It's so silly that I even existed with that mind frame, that consciousness, that's so... I didn't grow up. It took me a long time to grow up. And here we are. So why is it that every time we are told Islam, religion of peace, why is it almost every time we're told that we can multiply that amount and look at moments of violence? Why is it okay that the Islam nation or religion or their lands take our journalists promoting free speech, right? And go there only to be offed because they're not integrating to the Muslim way in these Middle Eastern countries, right? But when they come here, we have to accept every difference they want to bring here, including their backwards ass notion about Sharia law. How many cases, well, not a huge percentage, how many cases do we know of where a poor daughter, and I can think of a few because I've covered them here, is unalived by their disgusting parents, both hand in hand? I have a real life, I've shared the story, encounter where one of my old bosses saved a Muslim, well, ex-Muslim teenager. She was about 18 and her parents were stalking her and wanted to remove her life from this world because she would not stay. She wanted to integrate. She wanted to be more American. She wanted to embrace our country, but her backwards ass family was so against it. And then she got a Western boyfriend. She got herself an American red-blooded boyfriend, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And her two parents were chasing her and trying to end her. My old boss, we're not friends. We had a bad falling out, but he did a graceful, wonderful, and credit to where it's due, even if I'm not a practicing Christian, he did a very Christian thing, a very Christ-like thing. He took her under his wing. He protected her. He used his own funds because he's a successful, independent businessman and helped her get the hell away from them. And she is alive to this day because of his actions. And now there's far too many, if you just do the research, far too many examples of honor killings in our own country, and that only comes from one religion. I know there's so many issues and stereotypes that I have to deal with and I have to accept by association regarding the Jews. The Jews control this and that, and the synagogue with the tunnels. I can't explain anything. I've not been a practitioner. I don't have Jewish blood in my veins. You have to be born of a Jewish mother. But all I hear whenever there's anti-Semitism being thrown around, it's that, well, it's all in the dark and they control everything and all this, that, and the other, when I can just simply open my eyes and see the violence from the Muslim culture, from Islam. So why is there a DEI statue in my hometown of New York? Why is it there just for the sake of being there? The irony is in the report in and of itself. The existence of that stupid statue is there solely for the inclusivity, not for merit, not for educating an accomplishment from any other one of the civil rights leaders that were mentioned in that very news program. That was a great suggestion, by the way. What about Jackie Robinson, Rosa Parks, who I'm sure perhaps has statues already, but why a random BBW? Oh, I'm so relieved for this country now. There's a BBW in Times Square, New York. We're doing fantastic now. Look at us. Just a hollow nothing that means nothing. Islam, religion of peace, I call bullshit. That's just me. And our borders getting more and more secure by the day. I'm glad I'm a Trump voter. I'm going to hold out on the trans clips. Don't get me started. I'm a celebrated TERF. Okay? TERF is the word that is used to be a slur to anybody. If you basically believe that human biology is just that, a biological fact, and cannot be altered by any mental illnesses or delusions. So if you think these things, if you believe a man has a penis, a woman has a vagina, and there's like 0.4% hermaphrodites that have a little bit of both, right? So let's basically have a civil war over that 0.4%. Or let's just celebrate and push an agenda of child mutilation because, preteens and teens definitely aren't confused about their place in life or their identity. Let's give them surgeries and gender-affirming care and make laws and also make sure that there's some schools that are not even allowed to share with the parents what pronouns and or name their children are using in the schools. That was all shit happening during the Biden era. I'm glad Trump is doing what he has, and the tariffs is a long game aspiration. The media ain't talking now that the stock market has been rising, and it's been oh so fun to be a Trump voter and to feel literally proud. This is only the second time I've felt actually proud for someone I've voted for. Guess what the first time was from? It wasn't when Obama disrupted all of our television shows to say, I'm gonna invent the unisex bathroom. It's been around all the time, but I just wanted to, make this grandstanding pander gesture for hopefully more mentally ill votes. And of course, we need that illegal immigration policy to never be dealt with so that we can have unquestionable votes from all places, and especially if the dead are voting, that's pay no attention. I now have a true unisex bathroom that was always there, but I'm going to now call it's gender neutral. You're welcome, America. That wasn't the first time. The first time was when Trump was elected the first time. And remember, back when he was elected, before that, I was crying when Bernie Sanders conceded. DNC, Democrats, you chased me away and helped form me into this that I am today. That's all. That's it. Okay, so, yeah, mentally ill votes matter. I'm going to make that a shirt and sport it. I'm about to go out. Actually, I'm going to get that printed. I did. Oh, God is just. Okay. Whoa. Hello. Awaken within the void. God is just government. Okay. So for me personally, let me touch on this. I had to, as a means of survival at my age. I'm old now. I'm old. I know there's people out there laughing, but yes, I'm 40. And it's taken me 40 years to make a God of my understanding. Real quick. I'm not going to go spiritual. I'm not going to shame anybody's religion. But to me, in a nutshell, because I'm working the steps for the first time in my life, steps 1 and 2 mean I have to surrender to something greater than myself. So I literally just invented a God of my understanding, which is the collective love I've experienced in my life. It is the loved ones that are no longer with me. It is anybody that is gone too soon, that I saw so much potential in them being alive and in my life. That is the God of my understanding, that I don't feel like a fraud and a con when I'm praying to that notion. God is not any contextualized, textbook version to me. So when I hear God is just government, I think I understand where that's coming from. I have no love for the government, the deep state, and that's why even still I support Donald Trump, because he's been on the platform shouting out the shadow government. He's the only president that ever said fake news, deep state, this or that. I don't mean to glaze him so much, but he's accomplishing everything he promised. And how many times can you say that about any president? Yeah, thank you, Maxwell. To my point. That's all I can say personally. God is love and light. It's just all of the good I've experienced that I've had to concentrate on so that I can pray and so that I can feel real catharsis, and surrendering. It's letting go so much of the ego. It's probably why I'm able to sit here right now and start this live saying, I don't care what anybody else thinks or how they react, or if they clip this, or if they make little photoshops of my face, which has been done. The fact that I cared, the fact that I grew gray hairs over worrying about internet bullies bullying or not wanting to see my channel get any form of success, even though the way I did it, I'm not a fan of presently, but I had to learn that lesson personally. But it's all just so very amusing. And within the void, I just want to give credence to, God is just government. I guess I'm going to maybe meditate on that. If you're implying that the government is just kind of our perception, then it's not that much different than how I am looking at God. Okay, so I mean, with that and the government being a mainstay as opposed to anarchy, I'm going to go with at the very least this current president, his administration, Marjorie Greene Taylor. I've been watching a lot of the hearings, and I like that it's a fight back. I'm tired of the white guilt. I'm tired of the male chauvinist pig crap. I'm tired of all of that. I remember when I was on another podcast where I was supposed to be more of the liberal type, and I would watch videos of white college students, high school students taking a knee and in front of the black students and going in so far as crawling around their elbows and knees and barking like dogs and begging for forgiveness and picking up the trash with their mouths. That's real videos that we played in the old studio of that old show. And I'd like to think now the result of the Shiloh Hendricks case and Carmelo Anthony, like you've put those two into context. I think all of this time of all that guilt that we were supposed to feel or felt that it was forced down our throats, it's coming up to bite the other side on the ass. We're tired of it. Who wants to be told to feel guilty all the time? No, I won't have the absolute insanity to say it happened 400 years ago or even less than that. Get over it. Hell no. But to pretend that anybody to this very day is living that experience that's out there on social media, making impassioned speeches and trying to, I don't know, gain votes like an entire party has coveted, and they're trying to just make you feel bad enough so you vote for them. I don't get how I was a Democrat for so long, but I'm glad I have accomplished breaking out of that bubble and being who I am and where I am today. And I have to abruptly end this because I just want this to maybe perform a little bit better than my others, because I care. I'm starting to care now when I hit that button. And I'm trying not to be so manic and just going through a diatribe and being confusing. If I'm going to be in the algorithm, I might as well know what the hell I'm talking about. So thank you, everybody. I love reading the comments. I love seeing everybody that has been around so long. I can't tell you how much it means to me. Like it's a part of the love that I have identified that I call God. No, don't get a God complex on me. I'm just saying thank you. And that just knowing that you want to hear me out on any level, it does mean that much to me. So with that being said, make sure you have a fantastic day. If nothing else, be in the present, and God bless America, of my understanding. Take care. Comic book time.